Ooh wee! I learned that sound from Jamie. That's kind of one of our embarrassing stories. Ooh wee! Uh, ooh wee! I'm live. I don't. That's not a Lester sound. You've never heard Lester make that sound ever. Ooh wee! But that's a Jamie sound. That is a Jamie sound. Comes straight from Jamie. And I'm trying to remember when I heard her say that. Oh, I remember. I always tease her about that sound because I don't know why. Have y'all ever seen that movie Deliverance? Oh my gosh. Deliverance was when the fellas had gone, I don't know, I think through the Ozarks or somewhere in Tennessee, and they were canoeing down the river, four friends, and they ended up. Anywho, there's in that movie, in one of the scenes, one of the adult scenes, the twisted adult scenes, these a couple of these canoers get separated from the group and blah blah blah, and ooh wee. Reason I say that because one time it had started raining. I mean, it was pouring outside, and Jamie was making a video, and she goes, "Ooh wee, it's raining out here." And I have always laughed about that. I thought that was the funniest sound. And I've never actually gone back and found that scene from Deliverance and played that for Jamie to show her how similar they sound. But that's the part where the guy goes, "You got a pretty mouth." Anyway, that's as far as I'm going to go with that one. So starting off the live on that kind of a note, you know it's going to be a good one. So, ooh-wee, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? I'm going to start off first and say thank you all for your prayers for my Uncle Raleigh. I have not made any videos that are discussing his health in a while because I'm going to be honest and just say that it's an up and down kind of a thing. And he's having good days and then he has bad days. He does. He has good days and he has bad days. Jamie and I both went to visit him a couple of nights ago. And now he's not home yet. Uncle Raleigh's not home yet, even though Joanne has the little trailer all set up and they have the lights, the power, everything's all ready to go. But he still has a bit of an infection that they want to treat there before they'll let him come home. And you already know that we don't think there's a whole lot of fight left in Uncle Raleigh, but I do think that he's holding on long enough to get home. But Jamie and I went to visit, and we sat there on each side of the bed in the facility they have him, and it was neat. And he never said a word to us. He never communicated verbally with us. He can't, but he can squeeze your hand and he can blink his eyes, and so I know that he can hear every word that we're telling him, and he's able to comprehend all that you're telling him. But that last stroke made it to where he just cannot communicate back. And so what's neat, and I think is very, very powerful, is that Joanne has learned to communicate with him through hand squeezes and blinks of the eye. And so I was sitting on the right side of his bed, and Jamie was over here on his left. And it was really neat because even though Jamie and I were both taking turns talking, Uncle Raleigh, as hard as it was to struggle to move, he turned his body and his face to watch me and look at me. And I think that meant something to me. That was special to me. And nothing against Jamie, but Uncle Raleigh has always been good to me. He has always been good to me. He's done so much for me. He has always made his vehicle, his tractor, I mean, his property, accessible to me and to our babies over there. And I mean, you have ever needed anything, Uncle Raleigh was always the one to jump up and offer it and never ask for anything in return. He's the kind of uncle who would never ask for anything in return. Nothing. He was just a blessing to have as an uncle, to have as an uncle. Oh, I do not mean to talk about everything in the past tense already, but I'm excited about something that I wanted to do for a while. And I think that the eventual passing of my Uncle Raleigh has prompted me to move forward with this. But we have had no running water out to our cemetery. We've always had to try to make things grow by carrying out buckets. And obviously, the cemetery, our little family cemetery, our private cemetery, it's about 300 feet or so from the well house there at my house. And so running line that long and trying to hold on to any kind of pressure would be really, really, really tough. But this week we had a guy come out and he did some measuring, and he worked amongst all of the littles. The littles just drove him crazy and they wouldn't leave him alone. The ostriches, we have both of our female ostriches, both Wanda and Tina, would not leave him alone. And they're so curious about everything. And of course, driving a plumber's truck, all of your tools are there in your truck. And so he had to drive his truck into the pasture. But since we are working from all three of the pastures, there's nowhere to enclose the babies to be out of our way. So we were very much forced to work amongst them. And guys, I don't know if you remember the last time we did a gift and goodies with the littles, but they're all over everything. And I felt so bad for Johnny. I kept saying, brother, I says, I'll be happy to unload your tools out of your truck into my side by side, because if they want to jump on the side by side, let them do it. But I hated seeing them jump all over his truck, jump in the back of his truck. And he was just so patient. He was just so very patient. And it was crazy seeing that guy just kind of work around the ostriches. And the goats is one thing. The goats are one thing. I said the goats is one thing. The goats are one thing. Ringo's the only one you have to kind of keep your eye on. But of course, that bell will always alert you to where he's at. So that's one thing. But I tell you what, when you have pigs all between your legs and ostriches sitting there looking, they literally come up behind you and they will look over and look at you like this. And that's just going to be kind of creepy and a little bit overwhelming. And then of course you have goats up on your truck, goats are under your truck, goats are chewing on your truck. And he just kept working. He goes, it's okay, it's my work truck, it's just my work truck. And he so hey, it's a video coming out. There's a video, obviously. And I video everything. I look for moments around the farm that we can all share together, and I video those moments. And that helps you guys keep up with what's going on in a step-by-step, basis, as far as farm remodels, farm repairs, farm improvements. Of course, it's the babies you mostly care about. So you're constantly seeing the babies in all the different videos. And so I made a great video, and I really can't say for sure when it's going to be scheduled. I'm still trying to flush out all of the stuff from January. I know that sounds crazy to you all to know that I have so much content, but if you're seeing a video on Facebook or on YouTube and you're like, wait, I saw that like a week ago on the other channel, that's because I'm trying to play everything for both channels. And I never play them on the same day the way other folks do. Some guys will play a video on YouTube one day, play it on Facebook the next, but they don't have as much of a crossover. I know for a fact that a lot of you guys watch on YouTube and also watch on Facebook. And hey, I appreciate that. I know it's a lot of watching for you guys, a lot of watch time. And you're probably like, I've already seen this video, but you watch it anyway. And I noticed that because when you comment, I recognize names. And I don't know what I had for lunch yesterday. I don't know what I had for dinner last night, but I recognize names. So thank you for watching on the platforms. I tell you what, it certainly is making an impact on the farm financially. The supporters, all that you do, in saying so, you were the ones who paid for that water line to be run out to our cemetery. We are going to be able to plant flowers now, and Joanne can start doing things to make Uncle Raleigh's final resting place, as far as his body's resting place, a really beautiful, beautiful place. And we've never been able to do stuff with flowers and roses because it's just too hard to get water transported all the way over. But now we have that water line paid for by the Facebook supporters. So thank you very much, Facebook supporters. And I'm excited to show you that video. I think that I'm just going to say this. I don't think that you guys really give a darn about the video as far as the water line. Seriously, can we be honest? Let's just do a show of hands. How many of you could give a darn? You don't even care about the water line, but all you want to see are the antics that the babies get into, the riffraff, and just the shit show of a disaster that these babies are going to create while there's a plumber in the pasture trying to run a water line. Can we see a show of hands on that? If you're able to put an emoji. Yeah, here come the hands. Poor Diana's doing this over here. Diana's putting up two hands. Diana has, oh my God, here comes a lot of the two hands. And then some of the ones going hand. Listen to me. I'm not an idiot. Listen to me. I will just tell you this. As painful as it is to admit, as painful as it is to admit that I know you're not here for this beautiful face of mine or this contagious laughter that comes out of my mouth. No, I know you're here for the animals. And man, what a blessing that I get to be the human. I get to be the caretaker of these amazing littles and bigs, and I get to be the one to narrate all of their stories, or color commentate, as what Ellie says it is. Yeah, Ellie says, Dad, you're not narrating, you're color commentating, like a sports announcer would do at a football game, at a basketball game. And here he comes down the sideline, he turns to the right. Oh my God, he scores! But instead it's like, oh my God, here comes Tex, he sees Billy, he's running for the fence. You know, and so that's kind of the color commentator that I get to do. What a blessing for that. And when I talk about blessings, y'all, so obviously, you know that we use the Facebook is set up, and I'm pointing at Facebook. This is YouTube. So this is YouTube. This is Facebook. So we have the Facebook set up as part of the nonprofit, the business side of I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. So everyone knows that Facebook monies goes to the nonprofit, the supporters, and the donations. And so we don't touch that money except for projects on the farm. And there's plenty of them. Trust me, there's a lot of projects around here. We also do things like vet cost, feeds. You know, we had the horse dentist come out. I think we've already played that video, who worked on Dixie's teeth again. Yeah, I know y'all blame me for that other cavity. Y'all blame me, and I just blame Jake. It's just Jake. It's always Jake. Not cool, Jake. You giving Dixie a cavity, all those sweets you've been giving her. But we use the YouTube money to invest in other kinds of things. And guys, I told you that I'm saving every penny of that money. Now, oh my gosh, I am saving every penny of that money because I have this dream. You already know this. I have this vision. I have this dream of having a little piece of property that I can make, well, a home for Tex, a real home for Tex. And there's some things that we've never really talked about, the nitty gritty of Morrowland. And I will say it's a little bit difficult to talk about all of the nitty gritty, the ins and outs of Morrow land because it's complicated. The land here from my great great grandfather, who, I would say settled this place after the Civil War, he had never intended on the land being chopped up and fenced up and divided up and nooked and crannied. That was never his vision. He always wanted the land that was out of the floodplain to be a home for any Morrow who ever needed a place to live, so that every Morrow, any of his descendants, and there's been a lot of them, will always have a place to call home. This is a deep story. This is making me feel emotional as I talk about it because this man, Grandpa Morrow, who I never met, he's generations ago, he had a vision for Morrow land, and it was going to be a place where all of the property that's out of the floodplain can give any future descendant a place to call home. How beautiful of a dream and a vision was that? And that is the way that it should have stayed. But at some point, once Grandpa Morrow had passed and it had been passed down to his sons, at some point, I don't think that everyone shared that same vision. And so at some point, brothers began to build fence lines that divide property. Brothers begin to agree on different acreages. This will be yours, this will be mine. And so then, like I say, fences begin to divide property. And then, if that's not bad enough, once those men have their own sons, then property gets divided again. And then in all that divisions of property and land being willed off and deeded off to people here and there, divorces happen, and sometimes pieces of land are lost here and there. And so here we have come 100, and I'm trying to do the math in my head. That's why I'm talking so slow. Someone said, slow down, Lester, take a breath. And someone else keeps saying, how come you won't look at the camera? I'm not, I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm having to look at two cameras. I'm not getting rid of text. Take that back. I will never get rid of text. I will never get rid of text. But what I am going to do is eventually get and save enough money to at least put down a good down payment and give Tex, Santana, Pearl, and Gracie their very own little Longhorn ranch. And I say ranch, guys, it's not going to be a ranch. These are just my hobby farm. These are it's a hobby farm. But right now I've had Tex pastured off in a small pasture, just under an acre for the longest time. I've done some fencing and I fixed the couple of gates. So now I'm allowing him to come out by day into a larger, almost 5-acre pasture, but he's not able to be with his family. And, because of the drama between Billy and Tex. And the thing is, I'm doing some fence now. Jake and I are doing some fencing on property that's not even mine. So I can eventually, hopefully, let Tex even enjoy more acreage and be able to spend more time with his family. But listen, in my head, I know that this is a short-term solution. For as much labor and as much of that supporter money as I'm spending on fencing, I know it's not a long-term solution. I know this. And that all happens because of the divided property lines. And so everyone began to do kind of a land grab, and back when all this happened. And so now we have to be really strategic in how we plan and organize things. And by bringing in Tex and having Santana and raising his daughters, I realize now that Lester has pushed the limits a little bit too much to where it's made it where he's not living his best life, but he is going to. And I can't wait for that day that I can save enough of this YouTube money to make that down payment and to, to start creating what I have always envisioned as Longhorn Lesters. And I'm going to call it that. I don't care how goofy that may sound to you. I do not care how goofy that may sound. It's a name that you gave me. I did not create this on my own. I would have never sat there and said, okay, what's my future name going to be? What's my alter ego? Who am I going to be known as? I would have never done that. I'm completely content with just Lester. Just Lester. But it was one of you who coined that Longhorn Lester. And next thing I know, I'm getting Longhorn Lester, and then I'm getting mail to Longhorn Lester, and then I'm getting little signs to Longhorn Lester. Here's one behind me right over here. It's the Longhorn Lester way. So, hey, I am going to I work for you now. I work for you now. And so Longhorn Lester it is. And I'm going to create a place, and it's going to be called Longhorn Lester's. And you already know that Jamie and I have been looking for a while, y'all. We have been looking, but land here in Texas is out of control as far as around this area, man. So people are moving out and moving out further and further from Houston, from the city. And so we're going to have to go a little ways, where we found a really nice place that I haven't talked about. I have not even shared a video yet. That is, it's about 23 miles from here. And I know what you're going to say. No, Lester, 23 miles. That's way too far. That's way too far. No, it's not. It's not, guys. I drove an hour to work for 25 years. And then I would come back home an hour. And that was without traffic. If I was in traffic, so driving 20 minutes doesn't affect me at all. And I promise you, I'm driving away from traffic, not to traffic. But Jamie and I have been real slow to announce a whole lot because we've already found a couple of what we thought would be ideal properties, and then things fall through. Either you get the property not evaluated, what do they call that? Inspected. Longhorn Lester land. We're not going to call it that either. Just simply Longhorn Lesters. And but once those inspections come back and you find out that there's issues with this or issues with that, then that immediately that devalues that property. And if people are already asking an arm and a leg, and we realize that there needs a lot of improvements, then no, we would rather pass on that, because I would rather find a property that doesn't need a whole lot of fixing up. I want to find a property that I can fix up, things that I can do, land that I can clear, fences that I can build. I want, so we have a criteria, but I'm telling you what, we're this far away, y'all. Just remember this video with the 4,000 folks who are watching. You've heard it here first. Remember that we are getting this close to finding the ideal place for Tex and his family to have a forever home, where he'll be able to be joined by a couple of other sweet, pretty little ladies, heifers, obviously heifers. Those are female cows. And he will have his very own Longhorn Ranch. And hey, we're going to do it up right, y'all. We're going to do it up right. When we eventually invest in this place, we're going to do it right. So I'm excited about that. And I can't wait for the day that we make something official and I can bring it to you. And there's going to be people who are upset. I mean, I'm already kind of scanning the comments right now, talking about please never take Tex away, and Tex needs to be there. But I'm going to say this, and it's going to make you angry, but that's kind of you being selfish. Oh, I said it. That if you're insisting and if you're demanding that Tex stays right here, then that is honestly being a little bit selfish on your part. That means that it's all about me, me, me. You want your Tex video. You want Tex with everybody else. And I will say this again. If Lester had his way, and if we could go back to the ways of yesteryear, whenever great-great-grandpa had this vision of letting the front be land we build on and the back be used for raising animals and stuff, that would be ideal. But the land that Tex and his family live on now is not my land. Um, so that's just a short term. And for you all who keep saying, try to buy it, offer to buy that, buy that, buy that. Guys, it's not for sale. Don't think I haven't tried this way. Don't think I haven't tried. And so in the future, if it ever becomes for sale, that will be one thing. But unfortunately, I know the history of Morrow land, the part that would be for sale, and I know it floods. So really investing in a chunk of money in property that is susceptible to floods and a lot of floods and even some catastrophic floods, that would be an unwise investment as well. So trust me, in our criteria, we want to find land that will never flood. And so not only will it be a place for the Longhorns, but it'll also be a place that we can simply load up our goats and load up our donkeys and load up the pigs and take them there when we see bad weather coming our way. So as we're not sitting here on pins and needles, just watching the creeks rise and watching the rivers overflow their banks. Anyway, that was not really the point of my life. I don't even know where that came from. It's on my mind. And you obviously know that when things get on Lester's mind, they tend to flow out. I can't really keep things to myself. I've never been able to keep things to myself. So it is what it is. Longhorn Lesters, get used to it. I even stuck up my little sign there because I forgot my ring. I'm not going to wear that ring when I go over there. And can you imagine the day that I meet my neighbors? Imagine the day that I get to meet the new neighbors and I introduce myself as Longhorn Lester. I told Jamie, this is funny. Have y'all ever seen an animal auction? Seriously, have you ever gone to an animal auction, an auction ring? So anyone who's been into farming, you know about an auction. You go to an arena. There's an arena, and they're normally all made out of wood, just wood bench seats, and it goes up, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet high, and you're looking down into this small arena. And on one side, you have this fellow whose name, he's the auctioneer. He's the auctioneer. And on both sides, you have these lanes. In one lane, they herd the animals in. And it's kind of horrific, y'all. It's something horrific to go see because these guys are not friendly. They've got little whips and they got tasers, not tasers, but little electroshock type things. And they keep these cows moving in. They close the gate behind them. And then the auctioneer will tell you all of the relevant facts about whatever animal's being auctioned. He may say, this is a registered Longhorn heifer. She's 3 years old. She's never given birth. So she's, they call that something where you're unproven. Here's a Longhorn bull. He is registered. We got the papers, whatever. And so what my plan is, this is going to be so horrible, but I'm so excited about this. Whenever I get Tex and his family moved over to the future Longhorn Lesters, I'm going to go to a local auction. I'm not going to go buy a Longhorn from the Longhorn Ranch where I bought him in Santana. I'm not going to do that. I want to go to an auction because I see the auction sort of as like a rescue. Because I know that it's likely that whatever cows are sold at that auction, many of them are going to go be processed. Others are going to be dropped off in, who knows, some godforsaken terrain where they have to survive on meager, bare minimum meals. But I'm going to go and I'm going to write my name on the ticket when I get there as Longhorn Lester. I'm going to do that. And they're going to give me a little sign. All I have here is a hammer. They're going to give me a sign to hold up with the number on it. And that number, whatever, number 15, number 6, whatever, is going to let the auctioneer know that this is Longhorn Lester who's going to bid on this animal. I can't believe I'm telling y'all about this. This is the kind of stuff that I think about. Whereas you guys think about other kinds of stuff, like I don't know what y'all think about. I don't even want to guess what some of y'all think about. But this is what I think about. So I'm going to go to this auction and I'm going to make a video. Don't worry, I'll make a video. And I'm going to sign up as Longhorn Lester. And I know that the secretary is going to be like, whatever. And so she'll give me a sign, y'all. She'll give me a sign. It's going to have a number. And I'm going to sit there in that group of men, all those cattlemen. These are going to be cattlemen, y'all. These are going to be true cattlemen. And they've never heard of me. They've never heard of me. Never. And they're going to start walking them cows in, and them cows will start making a few circles around that arena. And that auctioneer is going to tell you the relevant information, and then he's going to start the auction. And we're going to start this heifer off at 1,000. Who will give me 1,000 for this heifer? Who wants to offer 1,200? Who wants to go 1,300 over here? And what he's going to do is start pointing at people. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that heifer, and I'm going to ask myself this question. Is she already big enough? I don't want to bring in, young, unproven heifers. Is she old enough to be able to keep up with this beast behind me? And I think you know what I mean by keeping up. Does she look healthy enough to, I don't want to bring in a sick animal if I can help it, because this is not the sanctuary. This is the Longhorn Ranch, where we won't have access to all of the same resources that we have here at I'm a Survivor. And so ultimately, if I find the right heifer, I'm going to raise my flag. I am going to raise my flag. I wish that there was someone here to pretend to be an auctioneer. And I'm going to raise my flag. And if I like her enough, at some point, these other people, these other cattlemen, that all they want to do is go have her processed. All they want to do is go throw her off in their pasture for whatever. I'm going to keep bidding. If I can afford it, I'm going to keep bidding. And finally, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be the best part of the video. When finally I'm the last guy bidding, that auctioneer is going to say, okay, is there anyone $1,500 going once, going twice, and sold to Longhorn Lester? That's what I'm going to do. And so they will write down on that paper that whatever cow this is, they'll have little stickers that tag to their behind. Cow number 235 has been sold to Longhorn Lester for $1,500 or whatever the amount is. And then they'll run that cow off to the sold portion of the auction barn. That's where you go by and you pick up your animals once you have bought them. And so I'm going to sit there for a while longer. And I know what's going to happen. You're going to have a bunch of cattlemen look over at me. They're going to look at me like, who the heck is this guy? I'm going to be wearing my Crocs. I promise you, I'll be wearing white Crocs. I'll be wearing this hat or one of my hats. I'm not going to dress up like a weirdo, but I will have my Longhorn Lester belt buckle, and I'll wear that Longhorn Lester ring, because I'm going to make a complete fool of myself, okay? I'm going to make a complete fool of myself, and I'm going to be giggly. That's the problem. The thing that I worry about the most is I'm going to be sitting in that auction, and I'm going to be doing I'm going to be giggling like a dumbass. I cannot take Jake with me. Jake would ruin everything. Oh man, Jake would ruin it all. I might take Jamie, but she'll have to sit kind of away so she can kind of video the whole thing without being right here in my face. And so I'm going to sit there, y'all. And I have a feeling that once I finally get that first heifer, and all these real cattlemen are thinking, who the hell am I? And they're going to probably all start trying to like to slide away and slide down. No one wants to be sitting close to the guy getting all the attention. But I'm going to buy me some heifers, and then they're going to walk out a couple more. And what's going to be funny is no one's going to know my angle. See, all these cattlemen, they know each other. Around here, they all know each other. So you already know when you see a certain bull or you see a certain kind of heifer, you already know, yeah, Gene's going to bid on that one. Or I'm just saying names. Tom's going to take that one. Oh, there ain't no way Willis is going to pass on that one. We already know the cattlemen around this area. But see, I'm leaving the county. My Longhorn Lester, it's not going to be in Liberty County. I will tell you that right now. I would never have a Longhorn Lester anywhere in Liberty County. We already know Liberty County's politics, and we already know Liberty County's lack of concern for its citizens. And so I will not live in Liberty County. So in saying so, this will be a new county where nobody knows me. And so I'm going to sit there and be real patient. And the next time that next Longhorn heifer comes through, all of a sudden, I'll start raising that number. You know what's going to happen? This is going to be funny. These other guys, when they realize that once Lester starts bidding, he's not going to stop, guess what? They will learn real fast that when Lester wants one of these heifers, you don't even try to outbid him. Don't even try to outbid him, because you're going to be wasting your time and your money. Now, obviously, I can't go crazy because we don't have crazy money, but it is important enough to me to get two heifers, at least two, that are of the same caliber, the same body makeup as Santana, because the babies he's going to produce are going to be world class. I'm not making that up. I don't care who you are. If you know your Longhorns, if you know your Longhorns, if you do know your Longhorns or cattle in general, I believe that most people will tell you that he is an exceptional looking animal. He is an exceptional looking animal. And so the the heifers that I get for my future Longhorn Lesters are going to be every bit as beautiful as Santana, and he is going to be the happiest guy. And I will drive those 23 miles every day to make those videos. I will spend my entire days between my bus run to when I have to go back to my bus run, working with, doing stuff, hanging out beside, cleaning up pastures, beautifying that land. And I can't wait for that day to happen. I'm not going to ever sell I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. Y'all, I'm a Survivor Sanctuary runs through my blood. Anyone who's ever owned property, especially if you were the one who built it. And so these hands, these rough looking hands, built I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. They did. These hands built this place. They built it. They built the one before Hurricane Harvey flooded it. And they have especially built and rebuilt the one after. These hands and your money. So thank y'all for that. I don't want to put it all on me, because I have always told y'all it would be nothing without the folks who support I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. So I'm excited about putting these hands to work at Longhorn Lester's as well. Just got to make sure that we find the right property, the right price. It meets all of the right criteria, and that dream is going to be put into fruition. So I'm not able to read a whole lot of the comments. I do see some folks saying hello to Daniel. If that is Daniel Arms, well, Daniel, I will also say hello to you, my friend. Hello, my friend. You know, it'd be nice, Daniel, if what you would do is admit to people the joys that you and I, there you go, Lester's Bull Barn. Lester's Bull Barn. Daniel, couldn't you lower your standards just a bit to tell people how we have a budding relationship here? We have a beautiful thing growing here. I don't mind admitting it. I have no qualms with saying that I am in a really neat position where I'm able to rub elbows with some of the powerhouse YouTubers out there. And Daniel Arms is the one that I have followed the longest and that I will not miss a video. So Arms Family Homestead, if you don't already follow, I think that you'll fall in love with the guy. And how can you not? The video never leaves his face. So if y'all think I'm bad about the selfie mode, you've not met my friend Daniel yet. You hear me? I said my friend. My friend Daniel, because as a friend, you can joke that way. As a friend, you can joke that way. Yeah, it doesn't matter what Daniel's videoing. He's going to make sure to find a way to put himself in that video. You think I'm making that up? Then I think that every one of you should go right now, and not right now, not now. Do not leave right now. But you should go find you a Arms Family Homestead video and watch, and you should put an emoji to let him know exactly, just a laughing face to say that Lester's not lying. That would be really, really funny, Daniel. You'll get a ton of laughing faces on your videos, and you're not going to know why. And it's just to let people know that Lester did not make this up. As much as I'm known to be a rambling man, and as much as what Jason Smith at Cog Hill is known to be a dancing farmer, oh, trust me, Daniel Arms has his quirks about him as well. And you know what? I love him. Daniel's a handsome guy, and I can say that because I am 100% comfortable with my masculinity, to where I can say that Daniel's a handsome guy. Nice, tall, dark, and handsome is what the girls always say. And so, and he loves animals. He has some cute little bulls that he gets on and plays around with, and he's funny, and he's very well spoken. He's a lot better spoken than I am. Man, I just kind of spit stuff out. I'm like one of those white rappers. I'm like one of those white gangster rappers who, when they give me the mic, and listen, I have a big mic. Y'all, I have a big mic. Look at the size of my mic. Seriously, look at the size of this mic. When I get my mic and I start spitting rap or talking to you about a video, man, I can just start spitting some stuff out. And I really cannot focus on Daniel when he puts these comments, because he always has to put people down. Daniel, you already know that the people that love and support me got onto your ass last time you made fun of me. I have finally been able to get myself over that. That put me into a slump. Here I am idolizing you. Look, I have put you up onto a pedestal where I look up to the Arms family. I look up to the Arms family, and I think that you know that. So what you do is like, you look down upon I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, especially this guy. And hey, just, you know what? It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Daniel sent me a text yesterday. We were joking back and forth, and he said, with friends like mine, who needs enemies? And that's because we have that kind of relationship. We can play back and forth. Daniel's biggest joke, I know it's a joke, his biggest jab at Lester is trying to make me believe that he enjoys Jake's videos more than mine. I can't have that. Daniel says, well, I am 6'3", so that's understandable. Well, you know what, brother? I'm 6'1", so I'm not going to be looking that high up. Whenever you and I meet, now your hair may give you a little bit of it may appear to be a little taller, but what you see here is what you get. Now, what we see with you is only this. So we never see much more than this over here with you. Well, I take that back. Sometimes you turn that camera around where you can show you using your tractor. And then he always puts some kind of a bluegrass music in his videos. And I just imagine that Daniel, like probably when he goes to dinner, like, he's one of those guys, I don't have room to do it, but he's one of those toe tappers that have claps his hands and taps. Oh, you know, I don't know what he's doing, but I picture those Ogies from the Skogies doing that. There's probably always a guy with a harmonica. And there's always a banjo. And I bet Daniel over there, all 6'3" of him. That's what I imagine. That's what I imagine. Now, I may be way off. But that's the unfortunate thing about not being a worldly person. When you kind of are stuck in a small town like Plum Grove all of your life, and you don't get out much, I'm sorry. All I have to go by is what I've seen on TV. And Daniel, I've seen Deliverance. I have watched Deliverance, and I think that may be somewhere filmed around your area. I don't know for a fact. Let's move on. Daniel Arms is known to distract me. I can be on my bus. Now, on a bus, we don't use our phones. We're not allowed to. But I always put my phone right there. So if it does chime, I can at least see who it is. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got to call mom. Ching. Okay, I got to make sure I, take care of whatever. But all of a sudden, I'll see one from Daniel, and I'll be like, I got to pull over, and I'll take my radio, and I'll say, bus 32 making an emergency stop, child discipline issue. And they're like, that's clear, 32. I pull that bus over, I put on all my flashing lights, and I'll say, okay, what's Daniel doing? Anyway, so no, I'm good. Bus 32 is back on route, and I continue on my way. Yeah, see, that's what I do for Daniel. And what does he do for me? Seriously, have you ever thought about that? Are there people in your life that you would give the world for, you do anything for, and they don't really do much in return? I'm still waiting to see Daniel's reply to that one. And all of a sudden, Daniel has ghosted us. He has ghosted us in the chat. That's funny. I'm blessed, though, with the collaboration that I've been able to do with a few people. Oh, my God. He says, well, I do take at least 3 hours of my day to watch all of your live videos. That is sweet. That is sweet. But that just tells me that you don't have enough going on. If you can spend 3 hours a day watching videos, then you need to get a real farm and do real farm jobs. I'm just saying, I know that there's never a moment here. There's never a minute to sit down. And if you could have seen my morning this morning, hey, I will tell you something kind of interesting. So I actually have kept Daniel in the loop on my search for the future Longhorn Lesters. I've taken videos and pictures and gotten some feedback from people who live in different terrains, because the place that I'm looking at right now that I like the most, there are some hills. There are some hills. And when you have hills, that means you have elevation, which means you have erosion issues. And so I've been real careful to make sure that I know what I'm getting into. I don't want to get into something that I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm always trying to make sure I know what I'm getting into. And so as much as Daniel gives me a hard time here and stuff, he has been kept in the loop on a lot of things. And he's a voice that I listen to. I can disregard most things people tell me, but I listen to Daniel. Oh, I have a funny story. Now, I probably shouldn't say a whole lot about this because this is not official yet. But Jake, and I'm surprised he's not here. I thought Jake would show up by now, but Jake is not here yet. But I do know that today, Jake is getting another rescued animal. I cannot tell you what it's going to be because I want to allow Jake that video and allow that moment and allow Jake all that goes along with the excitement of bringing in a new baby. And so Jake is reaching out to, he's in communication, and he's bringing in a new rescue today. And so I'm excited about meeting this little girl. It's a little girl. I really have to stop talking about it. I have to stop talking about it. I know that they're going to be here at 1:30. And so even though I'm not going to be a big part of the video, I'm going to be there. And just because I'm just going to be there because I like to be there. Obviously, as of right now, Jake doesn't have his very own property. Well, which is what I've been talking about. All me and Dan and Kim and Tina, we done claimed it all. We done claimed all this property. But Jake doesn't have a place to raise his pets yet, as of now. So he's going to be keeping his rescues over at I'm a Survivor because we're set up, y'all. It can still be Jake's, but it's going to live there with our babies. And I have to stop talking because I almost said can stay there with our littles. So that kind of gives you a hint of who it might be. And I've got to stop. But I'm excited for Jake. And he has done so much around the farm to help us make our lives a little bit easier. And when I do make that eventual move with the Longhorns, I told Jake, I says, at that point, if right now there's not enough grass, to consume for the horses, the cows, that big ass mega moo we have out there. And so, but once that happens, once that move happens, then you'll have plenty of grass and pasture land that you and LE are welcome to consider bringing in other babies, even of the larger variety, as long as you are committed to taking care of them. Jake has done real good with Copper, and he's done real good with Pablo. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, those are the only two rescues that Jake has right now. So, and that's awesome. Pablo, we've all fallen in love with Pablo. Personally, I don't think that Copper gets enough video time. Copper has that cute little piggy face, and I think Copper deserves more video time. He's a big old brute of a pig, but my God, he's just gorgeous and cute at the same time. We need more Copper, y'all. We need more Copper time. So I'm at 51 minutes already, and I know that I have told myself I'm not going to exceed an hour because I know you have more important things to do with your day. And if you don't, I promise you, there's always a video that you can watch on any of the Morrow Hill pages. All right, or fine, you can go check out that Arms guy, that Daniel Arms. He's pretty good too. But let me read this letter. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. There's no return address. Okay. Well, I do not want to be getting on to anybody at the very end of my life. I hate this. I don't hate it. I love this, but I cannot, in good conscience, accept this. I'm going to tell you why again, but I feel like I'm a broken record. So let me go ahead and read this sweet letter. Hey, Lester, I hope all is well. I'm praying for your mom. I hope they can do something for her soon. So my mom has had some issues. It's a hip issue, and she is having a hip surgery here in the very near future. If y'all want more details on the exact when, you'll have to see my dad's page because he pretty much does all about Gigi's procedures. And of course, my niece, Brienne, which is Life on Morrow Hill, has been doing a lot about Gigi. I'm sending a little something for the Betty White Challenge. This was her 100th birthday, and the challenge is to donate to animals. Okay. I watch your family every day. You bring joy to my life. Thank you for all you do. Keep up the good work. Give Jamie a hug for me. I know she misses Sookie. It breaks my heart. They are all our children too. Take care. I love you all. And then I'm actually not able to read her name. I don't want to say it wrong, so I'll just let you all see her name for yourself. Is that light too bright? Can y'all see that name? I think that might say either Janice or something. There's nothing on the return envelope. But okay, so as far as the $20, I understand that was a dream. That was Betty White's vision, that everyone donate to your favorite animal rescue. And so in saying so, we will gladly accept that donation, and I can give you my word. Listen to me. I'm going to give you my word on two things right now. I'm going to give you my word, and I've said this before, but here in Texas, giving someone your word is giving them everything this is your soul. I give you my word that every donation that we receive goes directly to the betterment of I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. In saying so, I can almost guarantee you, I've not read the comments yet, but I can bet you that a lot of people are wondering how much of these donations are going to go to make improvements at Longhorn Lester's. So here goes Lester giving you his word again. Listen to me, and you can read my lips, as the old adage expression goes. I will not use I'm a survivor money, period. I won't, for anything that does not have to do with I'm a survivor. You know that we are a nonprofit. And so obviously anything nonprofit is, it's public knowledge. So once we file our taxes every year, at some point, anybody is able to ask for those records. And so anyone can see how much as money is received. You can see where the money has sent out. You can see all of that stuff. And so by all means, if you're someone who is leery or cautious, or like you don't want to be used. I mean, we live in a world where there's a lot of people that can take advantage of you. And so I would advise you, if you're one of those kind of people, instead of having those doubts or those fears, then by all means, go and look for yourself at the monies that come in to I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. And those monies are being used for things like we talked about earlier, paying the plumber to run 100, 300 foot of line, water line to our cemetery. That water will also provide water for our little animal memorial garden. That water could also be used to put a watering trough out in the front pasture. So there are ways that we use that money. We've done the well, we've done the barns, we've done the ponds and the berm. Oh my gosh, don't make me try to remember all of these things now. But for you who've been following for a while, I always acknowledge the supporters when we use their money for something. I want them to know exactly where the money comes from. I'm not trying to encourage more people to support, but what I am trying to say is all the babies' needs are being met, and I'm a Survivor Sanctuary is growing, and that growth was only possible from you all, my bosses. So if you're saying, so wait a minute, Lester, if you've stopped teaching, you've taken a break from teaching, yet you're saving money to make a down payment on a piece of property for your Longhorns, and you plan on doing some fencing. And guys, that comes from my videos, the videos that I build. That's Lester Morrow money. That the videos that I build don't belong to I'm a Survivor. The videos that I build and the ads that run on those videos, that goes into, that's not anything to do with the nonprofit. That is Lester Morrow money. And so that's how I'm able to afford to pay my bills and to be able to afford to do things, to take Jamie out or to do life. I live life using Lester Morrow money. And I've also begun to save as much of that money as I can to be able to eventually invest in my Longhorn Lester property. And so let's not make no mistake about it. I think that one of the hardest things, and I've discussed this with both Daniel and Jason, I think one of the hardest things for any nonprofit to do is to invest in things that people don't really understand. And so I've always tried to avoid that drama. And so when you see that Lester Morrow is buying a piece of property, you have to find a way to understand that the money being used on that property is not for I'm a Survivor. I'm not sending money out of the I'm a Survivor nonprofit over to Lester Morrow so I can buy property. I don't. I work my butt off. I'm going to say butt. I almost said the other word. I work my butt off to make videos. I make a lot of videos. Don't even make me start talking about how many videos I make, but you can look at the library and see how many videos I've uploaded, how many I upload a day. And so I make videos like crazy, because what I know is that every video that I post, be it in the morning or the afternoon or the night, that video is going to get some people who are going to watch it. Not a whole lot. We don't have near the audience that like the Arms family and those folks have. But what we do is we make sure that the money that the videos generate, that has nothing to do with the nonprofit. That's just Lester Morrow money, because Lester Morrow created the account and I'm the one that has the access to that money. It's mine. And so what I do with that money is save it for Longhorn Lesters. Oh, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. So, and we have a heifer over here who's going for $1,000 and $1,200, who and $1,300 and $1,400. Man, I can't wait for that day. I cannot wait for that day. Now, this over here, I've always said, do not send us money. And I'm saying this, and I will say this, and I will say this until I know you're tired of hearing it. As I start talking about money, I can probably watch the numbers going to start dropping. But I'm a Survivor Sanctuary is never going to ask you for money. So do not ever, ever think that we're asking you for money. Not I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. Um, I do know that, people like Brienne, my niece Brienne, I don't think that she will ever ask you for money. But I know that she's not grown her page the way I'm a Survivor has. And so if you are the kind of person who wants to give money so that someone can better the lives of themselves or their animals, then Jake and Bree, Sister Kim, even my dad. I don't think Ellie would accept your money either because, obviously Ellie's my son, so I take care of Ellie. Ellie is never going to struggle as long as I can help it, and I can help it. So, yeah, if you just are the kind of person who wants to know that your money is going to a good cause, where it's going to be put towards animals and it's going to be put towards the feed or the vet cost or the infrastructure that requires the water and whatnot, then by all means, find you a family member here on Morrow Hill, but not Lester. Lester will make my money from advertisers. I will make my money through advertisers. And here's an example. You've watched a couple of ads by now in both platforms. I have nothing to do with how many ads Facebook and YouTube play. They say they only put ads in places where it's not going to distract you from a enjoyable experience. My opinion is that ads are annoying. And so I do not like ads, but I understand now from the business side how important it is that we hope that you can watch the video past the ad. You don't have to watch the ad. If it says skip it, then skip it by all means. We still get a small portion of whatever that ad brings in. So, but I get now how advertising works, and it will be advertisers who pay for Longhorn Lesters. I want to look you in the eye when I say that because not only is it important that you hear it from my mouth, but you have to see it in my face and in my eyes. And God forbid, I know you're going to say, Lester, you need to wear sunblock when you're out working. I do. It is nice and sunny and cold here. And the wind can do this and the sun can do this. But anyway, Lester Morrow will use advertisers' money to pay for Longhorn Lesters. Any of the improvements that you see at Longhorn Lesters will come from advertisers. I will never take a penny from the nonprofit. I'm a big believer in karma, and I've seen that with my own eyes, that kindness is rewarded with kindness. It is, y'all. Kindness is always rewarded with kindness. And so I make videos. That's my job. You are my employers. And so I feel like the harder I work, the more entertaining I can make my videos, then the longer you'll choose to watch and engage. The page will continue to grow. That means more ads. That means a few more dollars every month. And it will be the advertisers that will pay for Longhorn Lesters. So here's what you can do. If you're still not real certain about the whole ad and how it works, the next time an ad pops up on your video, no matter how annoying that ad is, you know what you can do? Oh my God, look at that. Do you know, Pepsi, that you're helping pay for Longhorn Lesters? Or I got one this morning. It was for a tampon commercial. I don't know why they put that on my ad, but it's a really catchy tune. And I catch myself driving and I'm humming that tune to myself the whole day. And I don't know why, but it's an ad that plays at the beginning of every single YouTube video every day. And I watched that ad and I'm thinking, hey, whatever it takes, thank you. Whatever the brand is, because you've just helped send a couple of pennies on to my Longhorn Lester fund. But I'm at my hour. Dang it, I was not going to go over, but I got a couple more cards here. Y'all hold on. I'm going to go through these fast. I am going to go through these fast. I'm doing a gifting goodies video. So, hi, people and animals. I hope you all have a great day. Love, Brayley Wells. And they're just wishing us a fun-filled day. Okay, well, that was very kind and unexpected. Thank you very much, Brayley. I have a couple more here. Sometimes when I see one that's been all taped up, it makes me wonder, are you reusing? You can't reuse an envelope. Never mind. Maybe you just don't want anyone digging into it at the post office. Oh, well, that's why it's all taped up. It's full of confetti. It was full of confetti. Looky here. Look. Okay. Oh, Jake's not going to be happy about that. It's a duck on the outside. It says, hi, Lester, Jamie, Ellie, Lex, Jake. I have RA, and it's very hard for me to write. Now, I think that RA might be that rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I have sent LE a cylinder and a book for Lex. I am closer to you than my own family. I love how you and your babies love each other. I give all the glory to God. Much love from Maria. And so, Maria, thank you for all the glittery stuff. I'm going to leave that right here on the floor where I opened it at. But more important than the glitter that you included in your letter or the card was the fact I want to talk about two things. Number one, you said that you have a condition that makes it really difficult for you to write, yet you took the time to write. You have a condition that makes it hard to write, yet you took time to write. And I don't know if you know how much that affects me and makes me feel closer to you. The way you say that you feel closer to us than you do your own family, I will say that that's a very common theme in the folks who follow a lot of our pages. We get that a lot. We actually get that a whole lot. That there's something about the relationships that we've been able to create through our videos to where you feel a closer connection to a social media family than what you do to some people that may live next door or even in the same home as you. And I think that's a testament to just the Morrows just being sincere and being down to earth and being real. We're not going to ever be fake with you, and we're not going to ever just try to paint pictures of rainbows and sunshine and lollipops, or however that expression goes. We are real, and we're as real of a family as you're ever going to meet. And when I say real, it's good, bad, and ugly, y'all. We just never think. We talked about this on Jake's video last night. Never think that we can that we're a perfect family, because we're not. And so you feel closer to this family than your own. And there are many times that I feel more connected to the animals or to the folks that I make videos for. I'll say one thing, that's for darn sure. Jamie's going to be mad about this. I spend more time with you all than I do with Jamie, and that's horrible. But I try to explain to her that, Jamie, this is my job. It's not like I'm getting home from my bus run and then I'm going to, on my own, just go out there and sit in the barn all day. I don't have a man cave where I just go sit back and put on a John Wayne movie and try to ignore the house at all cost. No, I don't do that. So what I do is I get home off my bus run, I have my morning cup of coffee with Jamie, and then I make my way out to do my chores. And throughout the course of the day, then I make the videos, and I can sometimes make 2 or 3 a day if I can find the content, or if the content comes to me. And then when I go in at noon, I'm always in the house at noon for lunch. After me and Jamie eat together, then I retreat to the bedroom or where I can kind of have some peace and quiet. And that's where I begin to edit and build the videos. And I do my afternoon bus run. When I get back, I'm back out to do the afternoon chores. Once those are done, I come over here to Jake's house and I sit on his front porch to upload those videos. And then Jamie and I will finally sit down for dinner around 7:30, and we watch TV until I fall asleep. There. See, if you thought I was living a wild and crazy lifestyle, you were wrong. This kind of stuff here consumes me, and it's okay because I love it. I love what we have here. And you know what they always say, if you love what you're doing, then you don't have to work a day in your life. And so I've been blessed to have worked two jobs in my life that I love. I always loved teaching until it got very difficult with Corona and the pandemic and being out of the classroom. I wasn't good with that. And oh, do I love what I'm doing now? This is not work for me, y'all. This is not work. I love this. Um, so I'm just popping up with a happy howdy do. Dear Lester, it's a very cold day here in the city of Kawartha Lakes, Canada. It would freeze the you know what off of a brass monkey. Ha ha. That must be a Canadian expression because I have no idea what you just now said. It would freeze the you know what's off of a brass monkey. I was saddened by the video you posted about when you explained the accident that resulted in the passing of Petunia and Lola. I was playing right along with you, Lester. I'm sorry. I was crying right along with you, Lester. Unfortunately, things like that do happen. It's just a part of life. And without death, there could be no new life. I've heard that before. That's a pretty powerful expression. It's sad to say, but that is true. A part of life is death. What do they say? Death and taxes, y'all. Death and taxes are the only things you're never going to be able to avoid. Um, anyway, she goes on to talk about how she loves the animals uh, that she's never met as much as she's ever loved any animal. And I appreciate that, which is another, I would think that that would be another testament to the videos that we try to bring you in the fact that we're able to find a way to make you fall in love with the animals and their personalities. And so you do become attached. And so we obviously, for us, losing an animal affects us greatly, because it's become a part of our life, much like your children. You lose a child, I can't imagine that pain. And then you lose an animal that you've kind of like loved like a child. And so she's been able to fall in love with animals through a video. And I don't think that could be easy to do. So I say that would be a testament to the video creator of whoever's video you're watching, showing you all of the characteristics and the personalities, all the quirks, the ins and outs. And then I think you can do that because isn't that what we really fall in love with? It's not just, this goes to all video creators or potential video creators. It's one thing to show your animal on a video, but I don't think that people are going to fall in love with the animal just by the way the animal looks. It's a whole lot like seeing my nephew Jake when he comes onto a video or when you see him in a video. Jake and my other nephew Dusty and my nephew Buddy. There are some really handsome genes that run in this family. I'm just saying. I think that Ellie, Lex, there are some really handsome men in this family. And But the thing is, you would never fall in love, not true love, with anyone just from their looks. Oh, you may want to take that screenshot to look at later. I think we've all done that. No, you don't do that. We don't all do that. Okay. Well, but but the thing is, you don't really learn to love somebody until you know the ins and outs of them. And then you know it's true love when you see things that are not so attractive in that person or that animal, and you still love them. So now my phone is ringing on the Facebook phone, and I hope it doesn't cut you off. It's Pastor Carlos, which is the pastor of the church by the road. I'm not going to be able to answer right now. So I'm going to keep on doing the video, and I hope it doesn't cut you off, Facebook. YouTube, I think that we're good. I have one more card to read, and I see that we've dropped down to just a little over 3,000. So I know y'all are going back to work. I've kept you too long. The back of this over here says, sorry, this card is a little late. I've been organizing things as this accidentally got buried. Hey, I know all about that. As a teacher, there was so much paperwork that I would sometimes have a stack of things that I would purposely let get lost. And if anyone ever came in saying, Mr. Morrow, we never got your seating chart, we never got your instructional plan, I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, it's somewhere in this stack. And I would always have a stack that big just for the dramatics of putting on a good show. And I would be like digging through it, and my boss would find it, you know what, just find it and give it to me later. I never would. And they'd finally leave me alone about it. And I was teacher of the year that year. I'm kidding. I'm joking. All that was a joke. Okay, so Lester, Jamie, Ellie, and Jake. I love that y'all include Jake in things like this because he has become such a big part of what we do. So it's actually, they're sending their condolences. It's still hard to believe that Petunia and Lola are gone. But like you all, I'm going to really miss those sweet faces. I hope you guys like the canvas prints. I really wanted to do that in honor of those two. Love you all. Absolutely. From, I think it says State College, Pennsylvania. Or State Co, Pennsylvania. No, State College, Pennsylvania. Okay. So I know we got those prints last week. I don't really know exactly if we read anything with them. Let me grab them. They're right here. So Jamie is on the wall. Jamie hung hers up on the wall, and this is the one that was sent to me right over here. So if those are the prints that you're talking about, thank you very much. Yeah, when Jamie did her live, it was in her background. And so in case you're wondering how we do this, so my lives always face this way. And then we turn the camera and everything to face that wall where Jamie has all of her stuff set up. And so my wall's not going to change. It's going to stay Longhorn Lester's for as long as you keep calling me Longhorn Lester. Oh, and I will say one thing before I end. Thank you for giving me a cool name. Thank you for giving me a cool name. I mean, think about it. You could have called me Shorthorn Dan, and that would not have been cool because there's just something about a name. And it reminds me how a lot of these people on TV, like your newscasters, Ed Brandon with Channel 13 News, and everyone knows his name's not Ed Brandon, it's Peter McGill. So why did Peter McGill change his name to Ed Brandon? He used to say Peter McGill recording for Channel 13 News, and all of a sudden one day, Ed Brandon reporting for Channel 13, and everyone was like, how did he do that? And so, yeah, a lot of your news people will just change their name. It's more catchy. And so I'm just Lester. Y'all, if you can't remember Lester or Longhorn Lester, then you need to thank y'all for the cool name. Thank y'all for that cool name and for this cool everything that y'all have done for us. So there will be more to come on Longhorn Lester soon, I'm hoping, and I will keep you in the loop. Thank you, supporters, for helping us get that water line. You guys keep my mama and keep my Uncle Raleigh in your prayers. And when you're praying for people like my mom and my Uncle Raleigh, don't forget to pray for those who are supporting them. You know, Joanne sits there in that room with him from the time they allow her to come in at 8 in the morning until the time she has to leave at 8 in the evening. And so the day that Jamie and I went, we were there for under an hour, and we were forced to wear the H95 or the whatever, the heavy duty mask, along with a plastic face shield. And you're not allowed to take them off. You can't pull them down to give a kiss. You can't pull them down to give a hug. They're very strict that you wear this all the time inside this hospital. And obviously, to keep the patients in there from contracting anything that you might bring in with you. But poor Joanne sits there for 12 hours a day, y'all, and she's having to wear all of that and also trying to talk to her husband of all of those years. She's been 40, 50 years. It's been a very long time. So, all right, well, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you all for letting us into your homes and into your phones. And I'm really disappointed. I thought that Jake would for sure come in here today and mess with me. But I guess I'm glad he didn't, because on his live last night, I gave him a hell of a wedgie. And he says, payback, Lester, payback. Tomorrow at noon, you're going live and you're going to get payback. So I made sure not to wear any underwear. And I've been sitting, preparing to clench up real tight if I have to. That probably is not necessary. Okay, I'm going to end these streams now. Thank y'all. And I love you guys. And I appreciate everything that you've done for us on both platforms. You guys have done amazing things for I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. And it's you guys that are helping me look for and eventually build the most beautiful ranch, mini ranch. Okay, can we call it a ranchette? Sounds so small, but a beautiful home for Tex and all of his family and his future family. And so I did say it in the video. God, I cannot just stop talking. I cannot stop talking. Somebody asked me in a video, they said, Lester, what are you going to do whenever Tex ends up having babies from all of, the different heifers? You can't rebreed your bull to your female. And I says, no. I says, when that day happens, that's the day that Lester stops raising Longhorns. I will keep Tex and his family, and they will be that's where this is where I draw the line. Tex, the family of four, Tex, Santana, Pearl, and Gracie, whichever future girls I bring in, whatever babies they have, Tex will not rebreed his daughters. And so when Tex is done breeding, I'm done with the Longhorns. I will live out the rest of my days. That's horrible. I hate when that happens right before I cut off the live. Unlike a lot of folks, it's like my dad now, Billy has run his course, if you will, and it's time to move Billy along. And that was the mindset, and that is the mindset of a lot of that generation of ranchers, cattlemen. But that's not going to be what I do, even though I've always had a passion for Longhorns, and I'm living that dream right now with Tex and his family. I will never, and I will say this is one more of those things, read my lips. I will never move Tex along to bring in a new bull. Whenever Tex is done with his family, I will retire Tex to the pasture with his family, and he will live out his days there. Whenever the females, the heifers, the young ones come into heat, then I will separate the pastures to where they you can always cross fence your pastures. I have a plan, y'all. I have a plan. So I can't wait until those days come, and y'all stay tuned. All right, I gotta go. Really, I gotta go. So thank you all. I'm gonna close out a Facebook first, And now YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. And my finger's not working, so I'm going to have to use the mouse. Got it. Thank you so much, YouTube.